Good morning, everybody. Chris Allen here on your Wednesday, March the 12th. How you doing? I'm doing good. I'm up a little early this morning. Just wanted to get an early start. My wife had to go to a meeting early, so I'm up, but I may go back to bed. Who knows? But anyway, wanted to bring you up to date on the weather, which there's nothing going on. As you can see, the radar is pretty clear. We're going to have another extraordinary day, big time day, beautiful day, lots of sunshine and temperatures back into the 70s like they were yesterday. It is going to be that kind of a day. So just get ready. Uh, Enjoy what you get. I hope you enjoyed what you had yesterday because you're going to get it again today. Tomorrow, that's when things start to go downhill. So if you're, got a little bit of spring fever and you're thinking, boy, I'd like to just get out in the yard and just do some things, man, go for it. It's going to be an awesome, awesome day. Let's look at the numbers from yesterday. And there you see a high of 78. That was not a record. The record is 84, but I mean, it was sort of close. 78 the high, 20 degrees above the normal of 58. Yeah. Low of 36. You think about how we had to go from 36 all the way to 78. Just shows you the influence of that southerly breeze that we had yesterday and southerly winds that helped us get up there that quickly. Yeah, that was pretty awesome. All right, you've seen the radar. Let's go to something else now, and I'll show you the Kentucky mesonet temperatures here as of 5:54. Yeah, early. It's early, but that's okay. You guys are up early. Some of you getting ready for work, and those of you that are watching this later, you're watching it later. Just know that the time check here is 5:54 Central Time here on Wednesday morning. Here again, we've got look at these numbers. Even at this hour of the morning, oops, come back. Thank you. It went away for some reason. Okay, look at those numbers. 40s and 50s. That's crazy. This early in the morning, it's giving us an idea though of where we may end up for high temperatures today. Could somebody in southern Kentucky in the 270 hit 80? I would say it's possible. Already 60 there in Muhlenberg County. We've got 58 over at Bon Air in Barron County, but then you've got your lone little 35 down near the river in Burkesville because of where that particular mesonet station is located, that sensor. It's picking up on of course, the cold waters of the river and down in the valley. Um, the sun is not up yet, so it's not seeing that. None of these stations are. This is just the mild air that we've had overnight, upper 40s and low 50s, even mid upper 50s to near 60. So you go from 35 in Cumberland County to 60 in Muhlenberg County. Wow. Winds, they're light. They were breezy yesterday. They'll be breezy again today from the south. 5 to 10 so far this morning. Gusts, yeah, there's a few. 12, 14, 13, 15 out of the south, but it's that nice warm wind. The kind of wind that just this feels like spring, even feels like May. I mean, some of these numbers in the upper 70s, close to 80, that's more like May instead of March. So yeah, take advantage of it. It's going to change. I mean, the temperatures are not going to change a whole lot, but the weather is going to change a whole lot. So let's get into it because things have changed and updated with the threat of some strong to severe weather. So I'll get into that in just a moment. We do the maps first, and there you see just that stalled out boundary to the north. This has been the dividing line between the cooler air to the north and the warm air to the south, and it's going to continue to be that. It's not producing any kind of rain, it's just a stalled boundary. Now we're waiting on energy from the west to come in, and that's going to happen tomorrow. And that will start to push all this kind of out of the way. High pressure also holding this boundary in place. So here we go. This morning, everything looking good. Another beautiful day. Temperatures upper 70s, maybe, as I mentioned, getting close to 80, if not touching 80 in some cases. Here we go into this afternoon, into this evening. We start to see some rain taking place with this next low pressure system out west. Here we go into midnight and early Thursday morning. Here comes the system. Now, this is not the strong system. This is the first system that is going to be just a rain, maybe a thunderstorm producer for Thursday. But this is not the deep low pressure system. That's still waiting in the wings. So here we go into Thursday morning. We begin to see showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two, but this is not a severe weather setup here. This is not that. That's going to wait for Friday and then Saturday. So here we go into Thursday night. Showers begin to depart, and this system gets a little kick. I mean, it's still that boundary still there, but it's going to start to kick a little further east as the high pressure ridge breaks down. That is going to allow for this bad boy to come in. Now, this is where things get deep. 992, 988, the millibars. This one, I think this is the big one. 992. No. Okay. So it's this one that's coming out of the Rockies. All of them are, but it's that extra energy. And there it is to the north. I mean, it's a series of low pressure systems that are all going to play a role in our weather come Friday. So here we are, Friday morning. Things are really starting to get organized into a one big, deep, low pressure system. Notice it's at 984 as of 7 a.m. Friday. We're fine. Strong southerly winds. It's going to be breezy Friday morning. Most of Friday, I think, will be dry. I don't think we'll see any rain until we get on into Friday evening. But here comes Saturday morning. Now, what this does once it gets to this point, it skips. We don't get the individual 6 hour breakdown of these maps. So you go from 7 a.m. Friday to 7 a.m. Saturday. That's a 24-hour jump. But you can see we're in the sector, the warm sector, the winds, the rain, maybe some severe weather, still questionable at this point as far as how it's all going to, um, I guess, materialize. The low pressure system there, you see it's at 980 millibar, and it's up in Wisconsin, Michigan, or Minnesota into Lake Michigan. It's not going to be as strong here, but still strong enough for some very strong winds. And yes, there's still, because we're in the warm sector, there's some wind shear, there's wind energy going on. There is that possibility that Friday evening, Friday night, even during the nighttime, we can have severe weather. Then we get this dry slot into Saturday, and then Saturday night into early Sunday is the actual passage of the front and a backdoor front that is going to usher in the cooler air starting Sunday. And then the rain shuts off And here we go into Monday and then Tuesday next week. Pretty quiet weather, but there's another system. Look at that next week that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Maybe the middle of the week next week. Look at all that snow. It's crazy. But this is March, okay? So, I mean, there are places that can have snow in April. And even as I've mentioned before, even here in Kentucky, I've seen it snow on Derby Day, first Saturday in May. I've seen flurries. Wasn't that long ago, 10 years ago, maybe, or thereabouts. I vividly remember some snowflakes, flurries on Derby Day. Yeah. So, I mean, it's possible. So just because it's, March and we're starting to warm up doesn't mean that, the snow is over and the cold is over. Um, we'll just see. Okay. Now let's take a look at the severe weather threat, which has been updated. Here it is for tomorrow. Now I can tell you again that for Thursday, this first system is just going to bring us some what we call general thunderstorms. General thunderstorms. Um, these are not tough. These are just your ordinary garden variety rumbles of thunder, a flash of lightning, some rain. This is not a big deal for Thursday, tomorrow. Okay. Now let's get into the upgraded because now we're in the short term window when we're going to get the finite details of maybe how this is all going to play out. Um, and once we get into this window, then we've got higher resolution um, algorithms and models and you know these drawings and graphics that really kind of outline a little bit better uh, what we're going to see or what is potential. All of this is potential. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but the odds are pretty good that we're going to get something out of this. I can guarantee with high confidence wind and rain, wind and rain. Tornadoes, that's the questionable part. Now, there will be plenty of wind with this system. This is Friday's severe weather outlook, and it's mainly for Friday afternoon and evening, even into Friday night. Now, this is when it starts to get a little tricky because um, a lot of this will be driven by dynamics, the wind, and some shear low level jet. We've got a lot of energy. We don't have it's not like moisture driven. If we had a lot more moisture, then I mean, there's plenty there, but if we had a lot more, that would kind of dampen the severe weather threat a little bit more. But this is why you saw social media going off or have been going off the last several days about, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, big, big letters, red, blah, 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 all this stuff. But still, let's just take this reasonably without the hype. Yeah, we're under a level 2 here in Bowling Green, Southern Kentucky, goes anywhere from really a level 1 marginal to the east of 65 to a level 2 slight risk along 65. And then west of 65, it's a level 3 enhanced risk. Now, any one of let me just put it right where the rubber meets the road. In any one of those three risk areas, you can have a tornado, you can have a brief spin up, especially if the leading edge of this thing goes into what we call a QLCS, which is just a long line, like a squall line. We used to call them squall lines when I was a kid. Squall line thunderstorms on the leading edge of that, that's where you can have a spin up because of the wind energy. and the shear. So it's possible. Don't let the colors necessarily make you think you're guaranteed tornadoes. Okay. This is going to be a situation in which we have to let it play out. We have to see how this is behaving because a lot of this, especially this enhanced area, um, we have to see how it's going to behave to the west of us to kind of determine how it's going to be east of that area. And these lines, as you know, weather does not follow perfect lines. Things can get muddied up, and they usually do. But this is just the Storm Prediction Center taking a look at everything and saying, this is kind of the area that could see something out of this. I do think we'll have gusty thunderstorms, wind driven rain. We could have some wind damage, but not necessarily from tornadoes. There may be a tornado outbreak west of us, but not necessarily over the Bowling Green, Southern Kentucky area. So you get what I'm saying here? You get what I'm laying down? As the kids say. Or, yeah, well, old kids like me. Okay, now, probability of severe weather. This is where the Storm Prediction Center says, what is the likelihood of getting severe weather? And not just necessarily tornadoes, but severe weather. So they put in this hashed area, a hashed area, or hatched, as they call it, is a 10% probability of significant severe weather. Now, significant severe weather is going to be severe thunderstorms, wind damage, heavy rain, maybe even flash flooding, and a tornado threat. So the tornado threat comes up to right at Bowling Green. But the more significant threat of that, the higher probability of that is in this red shaded area, which is down on the scale here, 30 to 44%, which is west of us. And I think that is, and they think that is where a lot of the energy is going to be spent out of this particular system. And by the time it gets to Bowling Green in Southern Kentucky, yeah, it's still going to be a fairly stout storm. But whether it's going to sit there and just spawn a bunch of tornadoes is questionable at best. So this is just using their parameters, using their guidance. We're now in the short term window where we can get the finite details in higher resolution. That's really all this is. I'm not saying discount it at all. In fact, you should be preparing for that possibility. You should know where your safe place is. You should have fresh batteries in your weather radios. You should have downloaded the News 40 weather app so you can get bulletins even if your power goes off. You should think about all of that while the sun is shining like today. Have a plan. Have a plan. I always say, have a plan. Everything is about preparedness. If you're well prepared, you can get through this. Okay. So I don't want you to think that, maybe the hypesters were right because it's not that. Okay. It's just that we're starting to get the finer details and things are starting to look like, yeah, there's something there. Could be something there if it comes to life. Whether it's going to be this big outbreak or not, nobody knows. Saturday, this is part of that double shot system, two pronged system. It's the same system, but we get the back edge energy that's going to come around just before the cold air takes over, cooler air takes over. And there's still a chance we could see something Saturday. Um, and it could reload. The atmosphere could reload and do something Saturday. But Saturday is still in the long-term windows. That's why we're not seeing the finer details on this Saturday outlook map. But the greater threat is going to be further south. Chattanooga, Atlanta, Huntsville, Montgomery, Birmingham, those areas on Saturday. Okay. So, yeah, it moves through here, then it goes further south. So that's the latest on that. Okay. Now let's move on to the model blender, and I'll show you temperatures over the coming days. And you can see that we've got, wow, incredible warmth for this time of the year. 70s, maybe 80. They're showing 77 today. You know, it wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody hits 80, even Bowling Green today. Then we go mid 70s tomorrow with the first round of thunderstorms. And then 80, I think, is very doable on Friday. And that's because we're going to have the winds, we're going to have sunshine, and everything starts to set up in that warm sector just before that system comes in for Friday night. So 80, I think, is very doable on Friday. And then with the thunderstorms, even on Saturday, we go 76. But then once the fronts start to come through, those backdoor fronts start to slide through, we fall down to 48 for Sunday morning and only get up to near 60 on Sunday. Then we go into the 60s, then back into the 70s Tuesday. Now, as I mentioned, it looks like something is going to come our way by the middle of next week, Wednesday, Thursday time period. Another system will come in, kind of like this one, and do the same thing. I mean, it's March in Kentucky. It's time to have these kind of weather events. We might as well just brace ourselves and get ready for it. All right, here's a look at the forecast for the 270. 76 is what I had last night on this. When you, if you watched News 40 or looked at the app or went online, you saw this. But we could easily hit 80 today for a high. 52 tonight, 74, maybe 75 tomorrow with the first round of storms. I'm gonna. I mean, it shows 78, but I'm thinking we're going to hit 80 on Friday with the strong winds and the next round of thunderstorms, which is going to come in Friday night. Some of those, yes, as you saw, could be severe. Same goes for Saturday, 75. And then we cool down for Sunday and Monday, low 60s. St. Patty's Day Monday will be nice, but 63. And that's about where we should be. Actually, that's still above normal. Normal is 58. Then we go to 70 on Tuesday next week. All right. That's going to do it. Um, I'll have more coming up tonight, 5, 6, and 10 on News 40, WNKY, because local matters. And it will. And Darius has updates this morning. In fact, he's on right now on WNKY News 40 Sunrise. If you'd like to watch him, he's got the latest, and he probably has adjusted the numbers that I just showed you. Anyway, that's the latest, and I'll see you later on this evening. In the meantime, have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine and the warm temperatures, and God bless.